Oh my God, Natalie, this is a really funny way to catch up, isn't
I
it?
know, right? I know. Like, let's just go live on Instagram and just have a chat. So for everyone who's just joined, hello, hello. This is a live episode of McCool and the Gang, which is my podcast. And we are joined by Anil Sebastian.
Hello.
Who is an incredible vocalist and arranger and songwriter. And yeah, I've just listened to you on Spotify.
Oh, I feel all embarrassed now.
Oh, it's so amazing to chat to you. I know the last time we actually recorded an episode that with Paul, who was on last month. But that'll get released next month, that episode. But I thought I'd just do a fresh one with you because it's just nice, isn't it?
It's nice, and it's like quite a fair few things have happened.
I know, it's amazing. Like, first of all, I just want to ask you, how has this whole situation been for you, and how have you been coping and getting through it?
I consider myself to be pretty lucky, especially since doing the project I've just been working on today, which is a big Arts Council funded project with a charity called Living Words, working with people with advanced dementia. Oh no, sorry.
It's all right. That sounds like a big project.
Yeah, so it's massive. But hearing people's experiences, like living in, working in, visiting, I just, put a few things into perspective for me. And yeah, it's been tough, and lots of things have made me really angry about how we value people and just valuing the arts, valuing humans. That's pissed me off. But outside of that, and outside of, the work situation, and the uncertainty in myself, I'm all right.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
The self.
I've got my cats. I've got my flat.
The home front has to be sorted, doesn't it? If your home front's good, then it's good. So I want to know everything. Yeah. What have you been up to musically then? So you just told us about your massive project for the charity.
So that's happening right now. So that's kind of where my head is at, and so I'm all about seldom heard voices at the moment. And I think this whole experience, speaking to a lot of people on the positive side, it's made us rediscover our humanity a little bit. Some people, anyway. And I think it's been a bit of an equalizer in some ways, but equally it's highlighted the inequalities in other ways, So I'm really just feel quite passionately that we need to hear those voices in the world a lot more, and in art and in music, that there is just this hidden, like it's a hidden world. It really is the world of care homes and what happens there. It's hidden from us. We don't know about it, and it's where a lot of us will be, at some point in our lives. And you think that's how so many people leave this world, then surely we should be like, it's one of the most important places there is in a lot of ways. So that was the care home project. That is the care home project, and that's with Living Words, and that's going to result in a book, actually, a whole book. And then what else? So my film came out, Daffodil.
I haven't seen about this on social media.
Oh my
Daffodil.
God! Well,
tell me.
I see. Isn't this a funny thing about social media? I always feel like I'm bombarding people.
No, you're not.
Actually, you just have to do so much more than you realise. It's on Nowness, which is like a massive platform of arty films.
Amazing.
And mine is up there. So this is a film I made actually before we went to LA.
God, wow! So that was before 2018.
Yeah.
Pre 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. But this is the thing I think a lot of people don't realise. I guess it's like with your album as well. Things take time to come into the world.
Yeah.
Right. So the film came out, and it has a accompanying soundtrack with my lovely choir friends. I've got an EP that goes with it. It's like a mini album, which is the soundtrack to the film. The film's about artificial intelligence and our relationship with consciousness and, that kind of stuff. And it's animated. and I'm really proud of it.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that's finally come out.
I'm going to watch it after this, actually.
Yeah.
That's going to be my evening.
Do it. And then other than that, I've just been choir. So as you might know, I run London Contemporary Voices Choir, co-founded it and directed it. And that's been really tough because it's our 10th birthday. So it's just been like, we can't meet, we can't do anything, we can't sing. But there's some plans afoot there that I can't talk about yet, but that's
really?
It's a resurrection happening.
So have you managed to do anything online over lockdown? Because I know a lot of musicians, especially choirs, are kind of getting into that now and figuring out ways to kind of combat the delay and things like that.
Yeah,
how have you found it?
So what I'll say about that is this sounds really like I just want to say that quite a lot of performances that we see online aren't like actually, they're pre-recorded and like put together. So when you see those split screen things, they're not really actually happening because it's not possible yet with technology. And I felt like I really wanted to, with anything that we do with the choir, to be really authentic. So we didn't want to do that. But what we've done instead is we've had meetups and big sings, as we've called them, which have been more like discussions, interviews, performances from individuals from within the group. And that's been really nice to actually hear individual voices, and then experimental kind of like pieces of music that we've made in the moment, playing with the weird delays and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
And we've done those. Yeah, so we did one of them with Imogen Heap. We did one with Basement Jaxx, and we did a few. We did one for Pride and one for Black Lives Matter. And there's going to be more of those coming up, which is exciting. And then we have actually done recording sessions, and so our session work has continued. I've got one tomorrow, in fact.
Who's that with?
I can't tell you.
Oh,
I can't tell you.
Oh, that's exciting.
Not allowed.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so it's been it's been really different to what I expected. I thought, it's been surprisingly busy. Other than that, I've just been working with my band. I manage a couple of artists as well. So we've got a release tomorrow with one of them.
God, you sound so busy. Like,
yeah, it's a bit mad.
Yeah. I bet when you think about your own kind of life, though, and you're kind of like, working for yourself, and because I always do this, like, oh, what am I actually doing? But then when you break it down, it's like,
there's actually quite a lot.
Yes.
And
I don't
sometimes
know
it's
how time
best
for all
not to
these
think
things.
about. Yeah, sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's best not to think about it, because you just think, oh my God, if I try and actually think about the deadlines for all these things, I'll just melt, because it's just better not to think about it and just go, oh shit, I was supposed to do that today. Oh God. And then just do it. But yeah, so that's that. And I think what happened was that when the pandemic first began, I kind of thought, oh God, this is it. I've got to just really hustle really hard to try and, make some things happen for myself, for other people, and to keep my community together. So I just, I think I just responded in that way, which has resulted in almost like too much, really. But hey, that's life, isn't it? And that is just me, isn't it? I mean, you've known me in that way for quite a while now, so.
Yeah, you do so many different projects.
I'm always slightly overcommitted.
I cannot believe the amount of work you do just for, LCV Choir, running that, and then all these other projects that you're telling me about. Like, I remember when we were writing the vocal arrangement for the Union Chapel show, and you were going on about the development of the music relating to like a tree.
Oh yeah, the Ash project.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
the Ash project, yeah.
Yeah,
that sounded really interesting.
Yeah, because I don't know if people know about this, but the ash tree is dying because it's got this disease. It's being attacked simultaneously by two things. One is ash dieback, which is this disease, and the other thing is the borer beetle, which is this little beetle that found its way here from Russia, and it's been destroying the ash trees. And so, and the ash tree is really symbolic. I mean, apart from the fact that it makes up about a third of our forests in the UK and in Europe, But it's also really symbolic. It's what bows and arrows were made of. It's like, it's so much part of our history, and like boats, and because it's malleability and stuff. So yeah, there was this whole project around celebrating those trees and creating a piece of music that was about. It was based on a piece by a nun called Hildegard von Bingen, who wrote amazing choral music a long time ago. And this piece I felt really inspired by was about the re-greening of things. So something coming back to green. So that was a project about 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
Yeah. God,
Yeah.
it's so yeah, because listening to your Spotify and your album that you released, was it in 2017 or 16?
16, yeah.
Yeah, like I think you're a really interesting artist, because especially from when we did the LA camp. Sorry, for anyone who's listening who doesn't know what I just said meant. Me and Anil met on an LA songwriting camp in 2018, which was for songwriters. UK songwriters went over to LA and worked with US writers on live film and TV briefs. So we would all kind of write to these briefs throughout the week. And then, yeah, I just thought that you were just so versatile, and, you know, everything you worked on was like, it was just really fitted each brief. But then working with you on the Union Chapel show, and then knowing about LCV, and then listening to your album, like, it's very interesting. It's just, I don't hear a lot of choral stuff in pop, aside from people like Laura and Vula, who are just
amazing. Yeah.
blows my actual mind. But I just find it so interesting, because I don't know whether it's music I listen to or on my Spotify kind of, you know, radio, but I just never hear that. And I think it's really interesting to involve those kinds of arrangements in an experimental way. And, you know, a lot of your music, I think, is, you know, around modes and just interesting intervals, and that's what I loved about the arrangement for the Union Chapel show as well. Like, it was just really free, and I love that.
But I'm surprised that you don't, because your voice just layers so beautifully. It's so like pillowy and gorgeous the way it layers up.
Pillowy. I love that.
Like
taking that.
You should be a choir of you know, like as well, because it just works so well. And there's something about those demos we made. I always find this, I don't know about you, but I find that, I mean, I loved what we did at the Union Chapel. I mean, that was just insane. That was just one of my favourite moments of, was that last year?
Yeah. You know what? It was October last year.
Flippin' heck.
I know.
Oh my God. But yeah, that was one of my favourite moments. But it's funny, because when you're actually doing the demo, there's something about that moment, because it captures the moment of that creation of it. And there's something about that in itself, which I think is really beautiful. And the way that all works, and the way, I just love the charm of it, and the choir of 1 or 2 in our case.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool as well. But yeah, I think it's underexplored. I think it's to do with, maybe part of it, part of it's to do with money, let's face it, because, you know, orchestras and choirs, you don't hear that much on records because it's just so bloody expensive. But I think outside of that, I think there's a sense of like, there's a barrier of like, that's not for me. And I think that's one thing I really want to be part of breaking down, this idea of like supremacy in music, of like, you know, that, that, you know, the division between classical music and everything else. That's
or like world music, you know.
Yeah, and everything else, and then this idea that there are these different genres, but then also that these are things that I do, and these are things that I don't know anything about, and I don't want to go near. And I love just sort of playing with those lines a little bit, because actually I think there's a lot to be said for how instinctive group singing is. And like, you know, it's so instinctive because it probably precedes language. We probably sang together, made sounds and percussive things, and, you know, like the body percussion that you did in your piece, and before we spoke. So you
Yeah.
kind of think it's in us to sing together. And I locally here, I say I do, but not since the pandemic started. We had a singing circle that was just anybody. You don't have to have training. And actually, the
Oh.
less training people had, the more it was this incredible ability to improvise as a group and create these pieces of music that if you wrote them down, you would just, well, firstly, it would take you months to
Yeah, you
transcribe
couldn't
them.
transcribe that. Yeah.
It's just
God, that's amazing.
it's incredible. And the harmony, the textures, the tuning, the emotion, and the communication between everybody, it's something otherworldly. And
Yeah.
people really go into a different space with it. And it's partly down to permission, you know, of like, this is actually what you do. You're a human. Humans do this. It's okay to do this.
I love the idea of that. You know what? I've never heard of that before. Like a singing circle where it's like largely focused on improvisation and
Oh,
everyone
it's
just on
stunning.
in the moment. I would love that because,
You would love it, and also you'd be really great at leading something like that.
well, I was
Um,
just thinking when you said that, I was like, God, that would be such an interesting stimulus for writing because
yeah,
if you recorded that and then you just kind of listened through and picked out moments
yeah,
and then went off from that, like that would be such an
exactly,
interesting way.
exactly. This doesn't have to be something that you've had, you know, that you've read in a book. It's something that you learn experientially, and it's something that you grow together with as a group, and
Mm.
that's really phenomenal to see in action.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the idea of that being based on like, you know, you don't have to have experience, you don't need to sight read because when
Hmm.
I started singing, was never trained in singing. Like guitar was my first instrument, and I've always felt like throughout my life, and this is probably stupid, but I always felt like I'm not a professional
Yeah.
singer because I
Yeah.
can't sight read and I'm not like trained or anything. But
Yeah.
I think that's really a really good thing to kind of enforce the intuition of singing. It's not about being
Mm.
trained or you know going to
Um,
study it.
I think also with the word training, um, opening it up to new meanings. So, you know, training, someone else told me this actually, is a very good friend of mine who pointed this out, and it really helped me because I feel a lot of imposter syndrome and shame around, you know, training and the idea of that
Mm,
and the background that I'm from and things like that, and feeling excluded from those circles a little bit. I really respect, by the way, training. It's very traditional training. I think it's amazing, but I guess what the idea is that there's different kinds of training. So you are a trained singer in the sense of your own journey
mm,
with it. It's not as if you've just started doing it and that's that. You've been doing it a really long time, and your training is to do with your way of doing it.
mm.
Just the same with me, and in a way, like, you know, training can be something that you do on your own as well, and it can be something that you do in your own way. It can be your own methodology, um, that's shaped by people you interact with,
Mm.
and I think there's a lot to be said for that. There's so many. I mean, some of our it's a funny dichotomy that some of our most celebrated artists are those people. They are the
Yeah.
ones that people respond to the most, and those are the voices often that people are most inspired by. It
Mm.
says quite a lot, doesn't it?
That's true what you say about training within your own journey. I feel like even just now, I'm only figuring out what type of voice I want to have. Even though
Right.
I know what my voice sounds like, I know what my strengths are, and I know how I like to communicate
Yeah.
vocally with my
Yeah.
own songs. You know what? This is probably a really controversial thing to say, but I think it's really sad now with like YouTube covers and TikTok and things like that, that a lot of singers coming up now aren't kind of used to writing their own music and they're just used to kind of covering other artists. And when you hear that, you can just tell straight away. And I just think it's so freeing to sing something that you have written, because there is no kind of blueprint for that, and you are literally singing it the way that your voice is your voice there at that
Yeah.
point. I think I always encourage young musicians to kind of write their own stuff because
Hmm.
of that, because that's the only way that I learned what my voice, how to kind of navigate my own voice.
Yeah. Yeah,
um
exactly. And
yeah.
it's that through doing and through doing it, and I think writing freely and a lot, rather than like, I mean, that would be my advice as well to people. Of I love how instinctive you are as a writer, and how free you are with it. It's like writing a song is a personal thing, and it's a kind of, it pulls on your nerves and your insides and your soul in that way, but it's also just an expression of where you are in that moment.
Mm.
So it doesn't have to, I think sometimes there's this sort of almost like a form up in the sky of like where I need to get to, and like I think that sometimes people feel like, to learn how to make a song and find my voice and things like that, I've got to follow this thing that you never arrive at, because you're always just striving for something that you don't quite know what it is.
Mm.
And actually, just through doing things and throwing them away and playing them to people and singing, and getting people involved and collaborating, and putting yourself in situations that are a little bit uncomfortable or scary, you learn and you grow. It's things
Mm.
like, okay, I'm going to write with this person and see what happens. Nothing happens. What's the worst that happens? You go home with no song.
You know what? That's true, because collaborating on with songwriting camps and co-writing with people, like I never kind of, I only started that maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I did a writing camp the other day, and found that I was really surprised at my own ability to like generate ideas, and it didn't matter whether I liked it or not. It was kind of like, well, just do it and see where that goes, because if you throw something away straight away, then by the end of the day you're just gonna have nothing. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes you a while to settle on something that you like, but why
Yeah.
not just come out with all these different ideas? And I think that when I first started writing, I was so scared to do anything that was, in my opinion, bad.
Yeah.
And I just to the point where I wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's just, you've got to be free. You've just got to
Hmm.
learn to free yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so amazing about the listening circle, because that is truly like, you're just improvising, and improvising
Yeah.
is not about good or bad ideas. It's just the idea.
And with my group here, that where I do that, we, I mean, it's difficult for me because I really want to record it because it's so beautiful. But we made an agreement in our circle that we wouldn't, just so that we would not have that feeling of documenting. It just happened in the moment, and then it's gone, and that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe once we've been doing it for a while, that will then feel a little bit more natural, and like it wouldn't be too intrusive to do that. But it's almost like the red light syndrome of performative, the performative side that it brings out, and you can sometimes then freeze it up, can
Yeah.
make it different.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, but like oh God, I miss doing that so much.
That sounds amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
if I'm ever down in London in the future, let me know when you're doing it. I'll come along, and I
Yeah,
just want to
come
be part of
along.
it.
Definitely,
It's
definitely.
almost like you have to unlock. You unblock and unlock that part of you,
Yeah,
I think.
I think so. I think so, and it's hard to be that vulnerable, and I think it will be really strange trying to find our way back after this whole thing that's created so much sort of physical distance. Finding our way back to intimacy and finding our way back to touch and connection is going to be like a journey. It's going to be really strange to find our way back into those spaces and feel safe and feel like we can do that.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you have generated opportunities without being able to do that in a room with people, with the choir.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really cool. Have you worked with, I mean, you said you worked with Imogen Heath, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Has there been anyone else you've worked with over lockdown on
Um,
projects with the choir? Like
yes.
recording and stuff?
Yeah. We've just been recording with an artist called Bakar last week, and that was an in-studio actual recording session with 12 of us.
People!
Oh my God! That was amazing. That was
that
lovely.
sounds great.
That was
Yeah.
really, really special to be able to be in a room and record together. That was wonderful. I'm trying to think. What have we been doing? There's been so much. We did a special recording for the Royal Voluntary Service. That was like right at the beginning of lockdown. And Ian Shaw, we did a session with for these big things that we were doing online. Amazing steel pan player that I met on a Tommy Hilfiger fashion show that we did back in February, called Ramel Lee. He's incredible. Ooh. And he did our Pride event, and he also did our Black Lives Matter event as well. Oh, and I've been mostly just writing with my band, actually, Harim. And that's been really hard because Uspis in Iceland, she's Icelandic. And so we're all at different locations. But yeah, we've just been finding a way.
Nice. Have you done any releases with the band?
Yes. More, not since lockdown though. That was more last year, but we've got exciting things actually, but I can't say yet.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Don't worry. But
it's good. It's good. It's going really, really well. There'll be releases coming, and we're working on things in our own way. Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you know, I've got this new project with Paul.
Oh, cool.
That we're working on. We should send you some stuff. It's getting mixed at the moment.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. We've got, you know what? We've got an album where...
Bloody hell.
Album, yeah.
Oh my God.
I know, yeah. It's insane. We were talking and we were like, yeah, we should send it to Anil and see if we can do like some kind of collaboration with the choir or something like that. But that'd be really cool. But yeah, you need to hear it first because you may hate it. But I assure you, I think you'd like it.
Won't hate it. It's got both you and I think when we last met up, the three of us, I remember hearing.
Oh yeah,
you were
we
writing
did. That was the first. You know what? That was the first co-write me and Paul did.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And I remember hearing that and thinking, "Oh wow, this is really good." Is that on it?
Shame hasn't been mixed yet. That song, but I think that's getting mixed. But since then, we've done like.
God, we've got. Bloody hell! You've done a whole album in that time.
We've got like 4 singles that we really like actual singles. Yeah, there's one actually. It's called 1984, which goes into a massive big choiry bit, which you might really like actually. I'll send you that one.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah, I'll send you it. But that's that's what we've been working on, and that has been kind of mostly a lockdown project as well, which is interesting.
Oh, that's incredible. Gosh, so you've got that running alongside your solo stuff. And what else, Natalie? Come on. What else don't I know about?
I've been interviewed. I'm in White Horses, singing White Horses, which is a psychedelic pop band.
No, I did know about that.
Yes.
That is awesome.
And we're doing a tour. So we just released an eclectic covers album back in the start of the year. And then we're going on tour in April. We're playing Earth, Hackney, actually.
Are you?
Yeah. In April. Come along. Put you on the guest list.
I'm there. Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
It'll be fun. Cool. Like, you'll have fun.
That's a great space for it. That's a really, that's a perfect venue for you guys. That's really cool.
Yeah. No, it'd be exciting. Like, I've got all stuff going on like that. And then just been doing workshops on Zoom and lots of kind of facilitation stuff. So it's been very nice. I think it gauges a different part of your brain.
yeah, quite. Well, we're going to be doing some sort of workshop-y performances things with the choir. I haven't really worked it all out yet, but I've been meaning to talk to you about that, because it'd be lovely for you to write something for us to sing for one of those.
I'd love to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Let me know.
Yeah.
You know what? I actually wrote something recently which might interest you. I'll send it over. It's the intro is a choral arrangement.
Beautiful.
I'll send it to you. Oh, and by the way, sorry to go off on a tangent, but I did the writing camp I was on last week. I was writing with an artist called Antique, and she is working with Eska at the moment.
Oh,
so we had a good chat about that, and then she called Eska, and she was like, and I was just like, oh my god, I love Eska so much. I was telling her about the gig.
That concert with you, both of you there at the same time. All my favourite people in the same room.
That was so good.
Yes, it was. And it's funny, like, how like, I mean, it was a magical experience. And I'm not saying we took it for granted while it was happening, but the idea of that now, like being all close together on the stage and like being in amongst the audience in the way that we were, seems like impossible. Well, it is impossible. And it's just like,
I know.
Wow, should really celebrate the good things when they are there.
I know, even like backstage, in that little section, everyone's like,
excited together and like,
and just like being in close quarters and that kind of excitement there. Oh man, I miss that. Really do miss it. And being in the crowd as well, going to shows. And I remember I went to see oh my lord, where Rosie Lowe. In Manchester, literally right before lockdown, and it was a great show. Like I loved it, but the room was like really packed, and just everyone was like so excited. I just missed that.
Yeah, that kind of energy that you just can't recreate in any other way. But we'll find our way back to it. It'll be good. Well, April, you've got your White Horses return. That's
hopefully that'll go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm doing a show actually in January. I've got a show planned. Probably shouldn't have said that, but it's out there.
You've let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah. No, yeah. That'll be good. If that goes ahead. It's just like it's a guessing game, isn't it? Because you book things in and then the changes. Oh my lord! The White Horses tour was meant to be now, actually.
Yeah. Right, and then
that got
you can only reschedule things so many times before it just gets a bit tiring. But, I think, the main thing is trying to support music venues so that they survive. If that happens, then we might be all right, but it's tough times for sure. And I think it's just like, I don't know, art finds its way through, doesn't it?
It's like Jurassic Park, art will find a way.
Yes, it will. Yeah, exactly. You can't hold it down.
It's because it's really just expression, isn't it? And like whatever people are going through, it's always going to come out in some way.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of ways, the more you hold it down, the stronger it comes out. So
that's true. Yeah,
but we shall find out. I guess.
I wanted to ask you what you've been listening to. Sorry to put you on the spot. What have I been listening to? So I've been really out of touch with like the world of music. No, don't worry.
I've just been brought a glass of wine.
Hey,
that will help. That will help. What do we listen to? John Hopkins have been listening to a lot. Singularity, actually. That's been a bit of a soundtrack. Nice. Dan's here. That's helping.
Hey, Dan.
Hello.
Your hat is amazing.
Maker of headdresses. No, we've been listening to that Singularity album a lot.
What song from your own work shall I put in? So like that could be from your album or it could be from your band. Or both. Both is good.
I like the newest one from your EP.
Dan says he likes the newest one from my EP.
What's that called?
Flatlander.
Flatlander by... What's the band called? It's about Anil Sebastian, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then my band, I would choose Austanetted, which is means love net in Icelandic. And that one to me is really special because that was really one of the first ones we worked on, and it's got Manu Delago playing hand drum on it, and it's just very special to me. So
amazing, cool.
Based on an ancient poem by Pál Ólafsson, the Icelandic poet.
Oh wow,
that's pretty special.
What is your band called again?
Hrím, which is HR funny I M.
Yeah. Nice. Ooh, yeah. There's loads of stuff there, yeah. Have you got anything else you want to add? Like anything else you want to talk about that's coming up, or anything else you want to say?
I just have this idea of a choir review in my head, and I'd love to hear you do like a completely like vocal piece. Just my personal wish.
Well, that might be something that I have demoed recently. Ooh. I just need to sort it. I just need to mix it. I always want to do that, but then I just get really distracted by amazing, like interesting other sounds. But you know what? It'd be a really good task, wouldn't it?
That's a fun game. Let's do that then. So that's my challenge for you. And what's yours for me? Do you have one for me?
Mine for you.
Help me get out.
Oh my God! But you sound like you've just
fever.
You sound like you've just got doing so and then much interest. Okay, I'll give you one that I thought was hilarious. Right, the Beethoven challenge.
Oh God!
You have to create a piece of music without hearing it.
Oh flip!
You know what? It's okay. So right. I'll give you one rule. Okay. I'll give you one rule. You can employ this rule. You can not employ this rule. It's up to you. But you can have a beat that you can hear, and that's the only thing. So you can hear the rhythm, but you can't hear anything else.
Right. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Challenge it. Yeah. Okay. I will try this. The
Beethoven challenge.
The Beethoven challenge, of course.
Thanks so much for coming on, McCool and the gang.
Yay!
And
thanks for having me.
Lush.
Yeah.
You can welcome anytime.
See you soon, my love, and cheers.
Yeah, and, cheers to you. Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe and follow to this podcast. I'm Natalie McCool, and you can find me and my music on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and also on my website, nataliemccool.co.uk. Thanks!